All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to break down a term that, honestly, runs our entire world. ICT. That's Information and Communication Technology. It's kind of the invisible engine behind pretty much everything you do online. And we're about to pull back the curtain and see how it all works.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You click a button, and the whole world is right there. You can chat with someone on the other side of the planet, stream a movie, or look up basically anything that's ever happened. So, how does that work? It's not magic, it's ICT. And to really get it, we have to start with that very first letter, I.
So, let's start right there. What even is information?
Well, here's the key thing to remember. Information is not just raw data. It's not just a messy jumble of numbers and letters. It's what happens when you take all that data, process it, organize it, and give it some real meaning. It's the difference between hearing a bunch of static and actually learning something useful.
Here's a super simple example. Imagine a list of all the raw scores from an exam. That's just data, right? A bunch of numbers. But when you process all those numbers to get a final grade, like an A or a C or a clear, pass, or fail, that's information. See? It's something you can actually understand and do something with.
Okay, so now we've got our meaningful information. But what good is it if it's just sitting there? That brings us to the C in ICT, communication. The art of actually sharing that knowledge.
At its heart, communication is always an exchange. It's a two-way street. It's about sending a message, for sure, but it's just as much about someone on the other end receiving it. You can think of it like a bridge that connects one person's idea to another's.
And believe it or not, pretty much every bit of communication follows this same 5-step journey. It all starts with a sender who has a message. That message then has to travel through some kind of medium, whether that's the internet, a phone line, or even just the air between us. It gets to a receiver, and then, this is the crucial part, the loop gets closed with feedback, which lets the sender know the message was actually received.
So we've got information and we've got a way to communicate it. Now let's talk about the engine that puts this entire thing into overdrive. That's the T, for technology.
Now, in this world, technology really splits into two big categories. On one side, you've got information technology, IT. Think of this as the brain. It's the computers, the software, the databases that crunch all the raw data and turn it into useful information. Then, on the other side, you have communication technology, or CT. If IT is the brain, then CT is the global nervous system. It's the internet, the cell networks, the satellites, all the stuff that sends that information whizzing around the planet.
So, what happens when you take that digital brain and you connect it to that global nervous system? Well, you get something totally revolutionary.
And boom, there it is. This is the simple, powerful formula that basically runs our entire digital age. When information technology and communication technology merge, you get ICT. This isn't just a bunch of letters, it's the engine that powers modern life.
So let's put it all together in an official definition. ICT is that whole integrated system. It's the fusion of the power to process information with the power to share it, instantly, anywhere in the world. So it's not just about computers, and it's not just about the internet. It's about how they work together seamlessly. And what does this incredible fusion actually give us? Well, it gives us unbelievable speed and accuracy. It lets us talk to anyone on the planet like they're right next door. It gives us automated processes that make our lives way easier. And it connects us not just with text, but with rich multimedia, all through one single, massive global network.
Okay, so that's the theory. But where does this ICT stuff actually show up in our day-to-day lives? The honest answer? It's literally everywhere. It's so woven into the fabric of our world that a lot of the time we don't even see it. I mean, just look at this list. Think about how online learning has totally changed education, or how e-commerce has completely flipped how we shop for things. From healthcare and entertainment all the way to farming, it's actually hard to think of a single part of our society that hasn't been completely transformed by ICT.
This brings us to a really perfect way to think about it, the global village. The idea is that all this modern technology is basically collapsed space and time, making our huge world feel as connected and as close as a small village. It's a powerful thought, isn't it?
But here's the thing. This story is far from over. ICT has already reshaped our world in ways we couldn't have even dreamed of a few decades ago. So that leaves us with one last huge question. What's next? As all this technology gets faster and smarter and even more connected, how is it going to shape the next chapter for all of us?